And welcome back to another CBB Talk with your boy Will Dickinson. And a good Monday, Tuesday college basketball. We got a lot of movement, not a lot, but a good amount of movement. A lot of ranked teams fallen over the last couple days. And the Big 12 never seems to disappoint. That is really just the main topic. I mean, the Big 12 day night in and night out will just bring amazing games to the table, and it's done that these last two nights. Of course, last night we had a great top 10 matchup between Kansas and Kansas State, and Kansas gets to get back. They got their get back game. They got it at home there, and they pretty much controlled that home game against a tough Kansas State team. Gave them some fight, but they didn't play hard enough. And it's this guy Jalen Wilson. I mean, he's doing stuff every night, just having really good games. I think that's one of the main reasons why this Kansas team can win the national championship this year is because of him. Jalen Wilson is one of the best players in the country. First team All American player, 20 in him tonight, and DeJuan Harris, 18 points. I think that met his point total for the last like 4 games combined. So that's a huge game for him. Grady Dick, still struggling to make shots in these last couple of games, but had good production off the bench is what Kansas have struggled with having these last couple games they've played. They've relied a lot on their starters, and with Kevin McCullough fouling out, they had to have Zach Clements come in there. Joseph Yesu 5, Bobby Pettiford 4. So they're getting more production off their bench, which is big. Marquise Noel, Keontae Johnson both had 20 points. Noel kind of struggles from the field in this one, from three, especially 3 for 11. But Kansas State, it doesn't. I mean, I thought Kansas was a better team. Kansas State, they had a tough one there at Kansas State. Kansas is up to now number um they're up to number 7. Oh no, number 6 in my poll, and Kansas State dropped 4 spots down to number 10. They're placed now third in my Big 12 standings. Which you know, if you can stay top three in the Big 12, you're going to be a top 3 seed in the tournament for sure. The other great Big 12 game was on Monday, and it was a game where I kind of was having a good idea what the outcome was going to be, and it was Baylor at Texas. Texas gets the win, kind of what I expected. It was a close game. Baylor played well, but Texas pulled it out the end. The Moody Center brought that energy, and Serge Jabari Rice came out and been their best play these last couple games. Comes off the bench, has another 20-point performance, and he's turning into one of their best players. I mean, he's a transfer. And if you can get 20 off the bench, your leading scorer, it's just amazing. Timmy Allen was really good, very consistent today. I mean, not today, that night. Marcus Carr didn't have a good game, but it didn't really affect the outcome in that one. Texas is a really good team, man. They're first place in the Big 12 with only 2 losses there. They are a team, I'm telling you, that State slept on. Everyone likes to talk about Kansas. Great Kansas State story this year. Iowa State, great story. Baylor gets a lot of love, but Texas is sitting there now, first place in the Big 12, and under the radar. Baylor still had a good game. LJ Cryer leading points in that one. Flagler only has 11, and not a lot of great bench production from Baylor in that one. No Langston Love to give them minutes, which definitely hurt the Bears. I got Texas now up 4 spots, number 9 on my list, right above Kansas State, and Baylor only drops 1. I kind of saw the outcome happening. The 12th. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that one Big 12 game, which was, screwed up my parlay. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's just talk about that parlay. So I'm on TikTok, scrolling through TikTok, and I see, must bets. I'm like, I always pass these after they happen. I'm like, damn, they went 3 for 3. I need to see them. So I saw this, I was like, all right, I'm putting them in a parlay. I had Virginia alternate spread of 3 or 4, and they won it by 5. Texas alternate spread by 3. They ended up winning by 5 too. So I'm like, oh, I'm feeling good. And then the last one was Iowa State +1. And I'm watching this game, and Iowa State is just handing Texas Tech the business in that first half. I'm like, oh, let's go. I'm walking out with my money, feeling really good. I mean, it was like a $5 parlay, but that thing was gonna win $20. So I was kind of hyped. And then I go to bed with them up like 15-10. Like I go to bed and I wake up in the morning. I look at my phone. And it's like Texas Tech comes back from 23-point win. I was like the 24-point deficit. I was just like, really, Iowa State? You're on my hate list now. I will not be rooting for Iowa State the rest of the year just because of that game. Hopefully, I can remember that because if I just start pulling for Iowa State, I dropped them to 15th. That's just a bad loss. You were, you were last. That was the team that hadn't had a win in conference, and you lost to them, which is crazy. Pretty much, Texas Tech was favored. Urbana, really good game. Again, no, they were more healthy in this one. I mean, they still didn't have Kunch, which hurt. But Grill had a good game. Kalsher just was struggling from the 3-point line, and so did Holmes. But yeah, O'Banner and Harmon had good games to Texas Tech, and congrats on them for getting their first win in conference play. Now on a 2-game win streak. Iowa State, give them the finger. Not a fan of them. They are in, I believe, 6th place in my power rankings of the Big 12. TCU with a nice win against West Virginia was good. So that was all the Big 12 big storylines in the last couple of days. We can go through some other ones. Virginia, that game was a little nerve-wracking for me, but they ended up getting the job done. Consistent play from Jane Gardner is starting to come back from like last year. Had a good game, 17 of them. I'm telling you, Isaac McKeely, he might not be, the flashiest player, but he's the next Kyle guy. I'm marking my words, bro. Next Kyle guy, 2 threes in this one. Again, the thing about Virginia I've been saying is their lack of big men, and we saw that in that one. Justin Edwards, 14, he was really just in that second half. They were just playing through him, and that gave Virginia a lot of struggle. We kept trying to bring the double team with Vanderplas and Gardner. We tried to give Shedrick some minutes. He wasn't terrible, but he had 3 fouls in 11 minutes, so they were getting him into foul trouble. But good games from Virginia. Just nice team performance, and we like playing good in front of stars. We've played in front of Steph Curry, and then we played in front of Jalen Hurts. But a big win for Virginia. I moved them to. They're still number 8 in my power rankings. Just moved Kansas ahead of them, understandably, after they got that big win. But Virginia's the best team in the ACC by far, and I don't really think there's a lot of competition for that at the moment. On Tuesday, talking about the ACC, Clemson took a bad loss to Boston College. That's a quad threer. That's one that hurts out large. A quad 3. You can look and say, I think Clemson has now 3 or 4 losses on the year, 5 losses on the year. I think that was their first or second loss outside the first 2 quadrants. That's bad. I understand you don't have Brevin Galloway, sorry. Which, of course, that's going to play a factor in. But you still have PJ Hart, Hunter Tyson, Chase Hunter. You still have most of your starters and good players. And PJ Hall struggles 3 for 12 from the field there. Good win for Boston College, who got blown up by Virginia in their last game. Yes, Virginia's the best team in the ACC by far. Clemson, I dropped you out of my rankings. That's a bad loss. But a new ACC team is in NC State. So they're back in at 23. I had 3 new teams in my power ranking, or out of my top 25, because 3 teams that are in there fell out after games last week. Illinois is not one of them teams that are in, but they're getting there. They're on a 3-game win streak against. They played Nebraska, Ohio State, and some other Wisconsin. So three of the bottom teams in that conference, that probably those 3 aren't making the tournament, along with Minnesota and Michigan, probably won't make the tournament next year or this year in the Big Ten. But Illinois, 3-game win streak. I think they won 6 of their last 7, so they're playing really well. Texas A&M was in my conversation, took a loss. 11-point loss to Arkansas. Just not right now in that conversation anymore. Good win for Arkansas, trying to turn things around to get back on the win train. Miami took a good win. They're not really, they're on my radar, but they're not right. They're not playing good enough to be a ranked team. They kind of just took the lead back at the end, and Virginia Tech was hurt in that one. Duke got a really good win against Wake Forest. Wake Forest made a couple shots at the end, make it a little closer than it was. Jeremy Wrench, 21 points. If they can get that play from their guards, that's going to lead Duke further because they play a lot through Flipkowski, and they got a huge matchup to look forward to on Saturday against North Carolina, which everyone's going to be tuned into. That's a game where you prove yourself. One of the teams that fell in my rankings was Indiana. I thought Indiana was back playing really good basketball. I know going into Maryland's one of the hardest places to play, especially in the Big Ten, one of the top ones, but that's not a good loss to have for Indiana. Ends up losing by 11 in that one. Fell on my rankings. A huge game also on Saturday against the rival Purdue at home. Win that game, you might be back in. You're going to knock off the number one team in the country, assuming that Purdue doesn't lose this game today to Penn State at home. So yeah, one to look out for Indiana. Maybe they were just looking ahead too much. Maryland's still a tournament caliber team after they got to that really good start, fell off. They're playing better basketball recently. Maryland's going to be, fighting to make the tournament this year, and Indiana should be a tournament team, but right now they have the same record. Northwestern took a 16-point loss to Iowa, which really good. Shoot, dude. My microphone was not plugged in, bro. Oh man, 1 second.
I see that whole thing with my microphone. We're just gonna keep going, so I'm sorry for the bad quality of sound. But I usually check before, and for some reason I just didn't check this time. And then I'm looking at my microphone, and I was like, "Oh, I'll make sure now." And it was like, "No, it's not." So I've been talking to this microphone for no reason. So you're just hearing my laptop audio. So that's unfortunate. Sorry for that, but too bad, I guess. So we talked about Indiana and Clemson. The last team was Iowa. San Diego State took a 9-point loss to Nevada, which isn't a bad loss. Nevada's a tournament team or a tournament caliber team, a team that could make the NCAA tournament this year. And San Diego State is a team that I'm expecting to be in it, but the Mountain West is playing really good this year. Nevada's got on my radar. They're in my other considerations this year, or not this week right now. Again, the Mountain West super competitive league, the most underrated league in my opinion. We now have we have Boise State ranking at the highest at number 20th in my rankings, New Mexico at 22, and then San Diego State and Nevada. That's 4 teams that are under consideration, with Utah State also being a team that could make it. They have a game today against New Mexico, I believe, at home. Watch out for New Mexico losing tonight at Utah State, who's a definite tournament caliber team. Boise State has some of the best defense in the league. In the NCAA. They're a real good team. Boise State, I really like. The Mountain West is just super competitive conference. You still have teams like UNLV and San Jose State who are above 500 with Air Force. And Colorado State was and Wyoming was supposed to be decent this year, and they're just not. They're 7-14. But yes, the Mountain West. A better conference than the Pac-12 this year, yeah. Better conference than the ACC. Might be. It might be a better conference than the ACC, which isn't it's kind of a crazy thing to say if you said that a couple years ago. But right now, the Mountain West is performing like that. They might get 4. They're probably going to get 4 teams in the tournament, possibly 5. Last year I think they got 4 in. Every team lost in the first round, so they're trying to let more of a tournament success. But they're bringing it this year with a lot of good teams. And Boise State, man, that team can go places. Trust me, they play great defense. They're one of the best. I wouldn't call Boise State mid-major, but definitely one of the most underrated teams in there. 2 mid-majors that are kind of worth talking about was Kent State and Fordham. Fordham beat St. Louis, who was first place in the A-10. I think now they might be in first place, 8-10. I mean, Kent State's 18-14. They almost beat Gonzaga this year. So two good teams there. Let's go to Wednesday games. Purdue back home, back in action. Number one team in the nation, playing Penn State. Jamari Pickett, one of the best players in the Big Ten, will be up. Probably Big Ten first team this year. Against Edey, National Player of the Year, most likely. Another 6:31 is Providence at Xavier, but no Zach Freemantle. He's out for around a month. Big loss there for Xavier. Pretty much him being out for the rest of the regular season. It sucks. That's a foot injury for him. One of their main pieces, one of their starters. Providence could get a huge road win. I have Xavier ranked, I believe, 11th. The AP poll is really underrated. The Big East this year. I have Providence in at 19. Providence picks up this road win. I could see them popping Xavier in my rankings. It would be a huge win for Providence. Xavier, they don't have one of their stars, but still should win this one at home in Cincinnati. We got a star-studded matchup between Georgia Tech and Louisville. The two worst teams in the ACC there. Louisville trying to get a conference win. I don't know. They're trying. Carolina's hosting Pitt. That's a good game. I think Pitt beat them earlier this year. Pitt's trying to get an at-large case. They beat Virginia this year. I think they beat Carolina this year, I believe. I think that was like a 12 o'clock game during Christmas break for me. I remember that. So should be a good one there. Carolina at home should win this. I got them at 21. I think they're trying to get a little underrated by AP voters. Tennessee at Florida. Tennessee keeping that hot streak alive after that win against Texas, number 2 team in the nation. Trying to get another win on the road in the SEC. Never an easy task. Marquette hosting Nova. Marquette, underrated. I know Villanova is just getting Justin Moore back, second game back, so good to see him back in action. We got Oklahoma State, 2 teams on the bubble that could be bubble teams. Tough. It's gonna be hard to win on the road if you're Oklahoma State. Oklahoma come off a huge win against Alabama. Can they get another one? And then I told about the New Mexico Utah State game, big one at 10:30. I might not be watching the whole thing, but I'm definitely gonna be looking at the highlights and reading about that game because the 2 Mountain West games are always good ones on CBS Sports Network at late at night. And let's look at Thursday. FAU is going at UAB. That's a really good one. Jelly Walker against against the team with the longest win streak in the nation, FAU. I think they're ranked in mine. This team, I will be an at-large team if they don't win the conference tournament, assuming they don't lose more than 3 or 4 games the rest of the way. Michigan at Northwestern, kind of just on their last straw is Michigan. Northwestern playing another one, trying to make up these COVID games. They played 2 nights ago. They gotta go play again tonight. They missed 2 or 3 games because of COVID, so they're making them up now, playing 3-game weeks, which could be tough on the players and the coaching staff. LMU at BYU. LMU is, I think, 3rd place in the WCC, not a tournament team. I think it's just gonna be a 2-bit lead that year, but still an interesting one. Trying to battle for that 3rd place position. Not a great night tonight. It's really just not a great night for college basketball. The earlier, best game is the 6:30 one, so you don't have to watch too much. Oh wait, this is tomorrow night. I'm stupid, bro. I'm so freaking stupid. Tonight is good. Tomorrow night is not amazing, at all. Yeah, tomorrow night. It's not a lot of good college basketball on tomorrow night. Gonzaga plays again. They've had a lot of close games. That one's on CBS Sports Network. And then Oregon plays Arizona. I think Arizona lost to Oregon earlier this year. So trying to get, a revenge game. So yeah, we talked about in this episode really just the Big 12 always having competitive games and the Mountain West Conference being one of the most underrated conferences in the nation. We'll give you a quick rundown of the top 25. Purdue 1, Houston 2, Tennessee 3, Alabama 4, Arizona 5. This is my rankings, by the way. Kansas 6, Marquette 7, Virginia 8, Texas 9, Kansas State 10, Xavier 11, Baylor 12, UCLA 13, TCU 14, Iowa State 15, Gonzaga 16, St. Mary's 17, FAU 18, Providence 19, Boise State 20, UNC 21, New Mexico 22. These last three just got added back in. NC State, Memphis, the second best team in the American, and Rutgers. So yeah, another great episode of CBB Talk, episode 23, 22. I don't even know anymore. Peace out. Remember to watch your college basketball and Iowa State.